All right, we're recording. I'm Ezra from the New School, newschoolbeer.com. This is the first of hopefully an ongoing series. We'll just talk about the beer scene, do interviews, sometimes just taste some beers and talk about what's going on. So forgive any errors. This is the first time we're doing this. The guest today is Michael Perozzo. I'll let Michael introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Michael with Zeppelin, a boutique marketing agency, and I do some writing and contributing to New School Beer sometimes.
Every once in a while. And you're active in the Southwest Washington beer community.
So I started North Bank Beer Week. This coming September would be our fifth go round of that. We'll see what happens. If that can happen, there's kind of tossing around some ideas on how to make it happen in a different way. Started Brewcouver, the passport to Vancouver's breweries as well. So yeah, try to keep up with what's going on in Southwest Washington. And of course, since it started all of that, a North Bank Brewers Guild has formed that is kind of a collaboration between everyone from North Jetty out on the coast to Dwinell out in Goldendale, and as far north as Centralia, Washington, Dick's Brewing, and then everything along the Columbia River on the North Bank.
And as we're talking, all the bars and restaurants are still shut down because of coronavirus, and a lot of us are obviously out of work. I'm trying to keep busy, but don't have as much work. I'm curious how it's affected your work.
There's been a number of places that are, completely closed, not just doing the to-go thing, but actually completely closed. So places that we work with that have done that have paused our services. So that has an impact on us for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of folks making a go of this, trying to figure out how to stay afloat, how to keep revenue coming in, even if that model looks different now. A lot of places are, much more concerned with cash flow versus profits from before. So it's all about how do we keep people coming, stopping by, doing something. So we've been implementing a lot of different ideas and tactics to keep things exciting, keep people interested.
Are you as busy as usual, or do you have more time on your hands now?
That's kind of been a weird part of it. I would say I'm more busy. There's a little bit of a strain. The 8 of us that make up our office are all working remotely. My business partner, her name's Sherry. She actually was diagnosed way before all of this with, she doesn't actually have an immune system. So she's really susceptible to this. So she's been in quarantine for a long time. And then our graphic designer, Ashley, she has asthma. So beginning of March, she self-quarantined and has been since. So it's put a strain on things in terms of, communicating like this is nice. I'm glad we have these things like FaceTime and Zoom meeting, but it doesn't replace human contact and being in the office and collaborating together on things. Everything moves a little slower in the office for that reason. Just coming up with creative projects and campaigns, it can get frustrating. Along with that, of course, all of our clients under normal circumstances, a lot of the efforts that we're doing in marketing, we check in weekly or monthly with these folks. And that's much different because of how quick everything's changing and how ideas have to keep pushing forward and advancing. So there's a lot more communication with the folks that we work with. And that keeps me busy too. It's, first thing when I get up in the morning, I've got text messages and emails, and the phone starts ringing because businesses are, hey, it's a new day. What are we going to do to bring some people in the door or deliver or bring people through our beer drive-through? Is one of the things we did with Fireside Brewing, that kind of stuff.
How do you think things are gonna change, or do you have any ideas about how businesses should adapt?
I think what I've seen be very successful is those businesses who are willing to push the envelope right now. So in your question, I hear kind of two parts there. Like, one is like what's working now to generate revenue, and then how's this all going to shake out in the end, kind of a thing. Right now, those who are creating revenue are doing it through unique ways. A couple I can point to: Fireside Brewing Company started a beer drive-through, and as corny as that may sound, it's about providing people an experience. So much of beer drinking is about experience. Even in New School every year, we vote on, the contributors vote on, what's the best brew pub experience in the state of Oregon. Right now, experience is out the window. All you can do is pick something up to go. So how do you create an experience for a customer? Is it a virtual experience? Is it something like a beer drive-through we've done? We helped Heathen get a beer ice cream truck off the ground, which has been incredibly successful. Literally, we're not even sure what to do next. Yesterday, out with the Heathen crew, they sold out. They don't have any packaged beer left. They've got to go back and figure out how to package some beer this week if they're going to do a beer ice cream truck style delivery again next week. It's weird. It's quirky. It's different. It's something that didn't exist before because we couldn't do beer delivery in Washington before. Now that we can, it's changing. It's changing things. But I think both of those have in common, like the beer drive-through and the ice cream truck style delivery. It just comes down to experience. It's just, how do you give folks something to do in this time, something to look forward to, even if that's sitting out on their porch and waiting for a van to roll by from their local brewery, blasting Beastie Boys out the side door. Like, that's something to do.
With the ice cream truck style beer delivery, do people place their orders in advance, or?
Nope.
Yeah, that's an interesting model. Is there? You've been on it a couple times, right?
Yep.
Do people see it and not know what's happening and come out to see what's going on?
Yeah. Oftentimes we got to circle a neighborhood twice, or people they'll be in their garages working on something. We'll be rolling by real slow, and we got like we're yelling too, like we're just yelling at people, beer, just like the beer guy at a baseball game or something, right? Like, beer here, come get your beer, fresh beer,
You need a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah. So people poke their head out of their garage door and they look at us sideways, and they just, like, they don't know how to process it yet. and then we'll have folks literally jump in their cars and follow us. So we'll be a couple blocks away in the neighborhood, and these cars will pull up behind us, and they'll all be like, "Yeah, we saw you drive by, and we didn't know what it was, and then we realized you're selling beer out of a truck." Like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And they're super excited to see that. Yeah, and then sometimes we'll go live from Heathen's Facebook page or whatnot, and we might identify a landmark in a neighborhood, a park, a school, a pub that might be closed. So yesterday, we let people know, hey, we're in Battleground. We're going to be near Northwood Public House. Used to be the Laurelwood there in Battleground. They've been closed during all of this. And we called ahead and said, do you mind if we, pull up in your parking lot? So we gave people an idea like, hey, we're going to pull up. Yeah, it was insane. I hope Heathen doesn't mind me saying, but we did like $3,000 in an hour. So
yeah,
moved some products quick.
Do you know of or think any other breweries are going to start doing that?
After, so this is the second week of this kind of success with it, and yeah, I've had 3 other breweries reach out to me and say, okay, how's this work? How is this coming about, and how can we do this too? They've Heathen's been careful to do this in like underserved areas, so I don't think this is something that would necessarily work as well if you're in an area where there's a lot of breweries and you're rolling around the neighborhoods in areas where people could walk to their local brewery. I don't think that works the same. We've specifically targeted looking at, okay, where are people thirsty that they haven't got out of their house in a while, they don't have much to look forward to, how do we go to them? And then we plan ahead. We announce we're going to that area. We've used things like Nextdoor, that app, to kind of let neighborhoods know, like, hey, we've picked your neighborhood, spread the word, we're coming. We've placed targeted Facebook ads and Instagram ads around certain neighborhoods that we're going to, so people know to look for us. So it's not just going in blind and driving around the streets hoping somebody sees us. There's hundreds of folks on their porches looking for us, in addition to those that see us and struggle to figure out what's going on.
And you mentioned doing going live on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing that series on the Beer Nerds group on Facebook, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm an admin on a group on Facebook called Beer Nerds. If you search it, 2 of them come up, and one has like 200 people and one has like almost 4,000. Ours is the one with 4,000. So if you want to join it, go ahead. It's been fun. That was day 1. I just knew I personally, it was taking a big chunk out of my life not to be able to go to the pub and see people. And I wasn't sure what to do about that, but I was like, let's go live with a virtual pub every night. So started out before things got more locked down in the state of Washington. That first week, when they were still saying things like, no gatherings over 50 and things like that, there were still some restaurants that were open that weekend. And then that Monday, when things were announced that, hey, now it's no more than 10 and everybody has to do to go, that Monday, I just decided, okay, I'm going to try to at least create a place for people to gather. And there is already a kind of a virtual community there in Beer Nerds to gather. So it started out visiting different breweries. And now I still do that a little bit, trying to be careful with that. I don't want to, just be tooling around town all day, every day, doing that. Don't have the time for it. But so oftentimes it's just me and my wife at home talking about beer, talking about what there is to look forward to in beer. From, that group has people from Seattle to California. So just talking about what's happening all up and down the coast, even people from Denver, just talking about beer and drinking beer, and talking about what we've had lately that's good, what we're looking forward to in terms of releases. It's been good, and then obviously you got to join me for one of them with Ben Edmonds. That was fun. He gave me this beer.
Yes. What is you're drinking?
It's Portland's IPA. It's the Breakside 2X dry hopped Breakside India Pale Ale. So it literally says right on here, a hopped up version of our classic IPA. So
nice.
Basically,
how do you like it?
Huh?
How do you like it?
I like it a lot. It's it's totally what it says it is. Like, I drink it and I'm like, oh, that's Breakside IPA. I recognize this. There's just a little extra dry hop thing going on there, so it's just a little more aromatic and a little bit more hop presence up front, but super enjoyable.
Yeah. I normally drink beer, but I just got this hard Dutch latte made with real Dutch cream, real coffee, and it's a malt beverage, and it's only 5% alcohol, so it's good to sip on before start the real drinking later.
That's awesome.
It just tastes like a vanilla latte, nitro latte.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good. It's sweet, or kind of like a frappuccino or something.
From Holland.
But back to the Beer Nerds Facebook Live group. You're doing that like every single day, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you regret that commitment? Because that's a big commitment to do every single day.
There's been a couple days that are like, okay, I need to do this. The thing is, even those few days where I've just been like totally drained and like, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I go live in the group, and I always start off with some hand sanitizer while people log in and they start commenting with, hey, here's where I'm from and here's what I'm drinking right now. And like instantly my mental health improves. So I'm glad that I committed to that for that reason. I think, could probably, my brain could go to some dark places and all of this, staying at home and not doing much kind of thing. So it gives me just that one time a day that there's been some days that like I'm in the doldrums, like I'm not excited about it. And by the time I've done it, and it's, usually a half hour, 45 minutes, I get done with it and I'm just like, wow, that was so awesome. I got to talk to so many people that I normally would, many of them I would see around Portland if I was, Portland, Vancouver. If I was to go to a brewery or tap house, it's a lot of those people I would see, that I'm at least happy to communicate with.
Mm-hmm. How long are you going to keep up the daily Facebook Live videos?
Indefinitely, I mean, it's interesting because now I've had a number of breweries reach out to me and say, hey, you want to stop by, and we've got something new coming out, we could talk about it, do a virtual pub. So that's been fun. Gives me something to look forward to. So yeah, that was a lot of fun at Breakside. This Monday, we'll be a Wayfinder
Yeah.
That'll be rad.
Both of us.
Yeah. Bringing you with me.
And I heard I ran into the Threshold Yarick from Threshold Brewing yesterday, and he told me he thinks he caught something set up with you for one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. His wife Sarah reached out to me and said we should do that, and yeah, I'm planning on it. Don't know if it'll be this week. It's kind of crazy. So Monday is Wayfinder. Tuesday, I'm not supposed to say. They want to make it a surprise, so I said sure. So it's going to be from my home, but I'll have a surprise stopping by. Wednesday is going to be from the new Taps Growler House that's opening up in Ridgefield. So it's kind of an empty shell of a building right now, but they're still resuming construction tomorrow. Is something that happened in Washington. So new construction can resume tomorrow. So they'll actually be putting up some drywall, and it'll start to look a little bit like a pub by Wednesday. So I'm going to do that. And then Friday, something we've been working on at Zeppelin is reimagining Dick's Brewing Company, who's been going at it since 1994. And kind of rebranding them, and did some cans. So it's going to be their first can release.
First ever?
They only did cans one other time, and it was kind of like this secret thing. They did it for a fan group of the Seahawks. They actually brewed the 12th Man Pale Ale, and but like it was hidden on the can, like brewed and packaged at Dick's Brewing Company, like really subtly. So not a lot of people knew that. But yeah, that was the only other can thing they've done. So they didn't have a release or anything for it. It was kind of a contract brew kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So this will be their first can release.
I got one last question for you, which is what reasons do you have for optimism for the craft beer scene in Southwest Washington, during these times?
So one of the things that's coming together here is all of the North Bank Brewers, the North Bank Brewers Alliance, which is our Southwest Washington Guild. They're getting together and they're doing a collab called Look for the Helpers. It's a pale ale that the can is actually a word search puzzle that has all of the Southwest Washington breweries in the word search. So the can becomes a little game you can play in quarantine. But the reference, Look for the Helpers, comes from something that Mr. Rogers said his mother told him, like, when disaster strikes, look for the helpers, look for the people who are helping. And that's what I've seen around Southwest Washington. Is this collab was put together, really spearheaded by Jason Bose over at Brothers Cascadia. They also did a crowdsourced virtual collaboration with beer nerds. So, that's happening. And then I look at the things Heathen's doing with the ice cream truck. Victor 23 has a whole TSA pre thing to order ahead and no contact pickup. Kind of a fun thing. I look at all these fun and unique ideas and see that the pressure of the external pressure, whatever that is, this shutdown, the stay-at-home order, the external pressure has forced creativity. And I think people are either choosing to be creative and positive in this and look for the silver lining, or that pressure, they have the opposite response to the pressure. They cave, they say, woe is me, how are we ever going to survive in this? We're not going to be able to do this. So I think looking across Southwest Washington, the overwhelming majority of breweries and tap rooms are really taking that positive angle to it and saying, let's make the best of this. Let's figure this out. We're in this together. That gives me reason for hope and positivity. I think, the bottom line is community. That community is still intact. It's still supporting each other. And that's not to say that there's not those who, if this continues to drag out, we've all heard the numbers that many breweries are down anywhere from 60 to 80%. Not saying that these things are sustainable for, 5, 6, 8 months, but here right now, people are giving a go of it. And I think everybody wants to help each other. And I think that's reason for positivity.
It's good news. All right. Well, we'll end it there. Thanks for joining me.
You bet. Thanks for
see you tomorrow at Wayfinder.
Glad to be on the maiden voyage.
Yes. Cheers.